You're watching Rules of the Game with Bill Krug, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, All Glaze Equipment Rental, Capabilities, David Wabacher Attorney, Eagles 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Grand Lake Roofing, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Jackalope Stash, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, Laura Yelton State Farm, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Plus One Professional Real Estate, Ryder Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Hello and welcome to Rules of the Game with Bill Krug. I'm your host, Zach Farrell. Joining me each and every week is local official Bill Krug. Bill, thanks for being here.
Thanks again, Zach.
Bill, we've got some clips from the game on Friday night against Kenton. We're going to jump into those in a second, but I think being here after the Buckeyes loss on Saturday, we have to talk a little bit about the 12th man on the field and that sort of loophole advantage that Oregon was able to exploit, and maybe the differences between that and high school and what you guys look at for officials. And what did you think about it?
Well, when it first happened, I didn't know that there was a difference between the high school rules and the college rules. So when it was happening, I could see there was 12 guys on the field, and I was, hey, 12 guys on the field. So in college, all it is illegal substitution, which is 5 yards, and then we start the clock. But in high school, there's a couple scenarios that could happen. Once the back judge, who was counting the defense, once he saw that there was 12 guys and the snap was imminent, it was going to happen, he could have killed the play right then, and it would have been 5 yards from there. Now, here's the big difference. In high school, under 2 minutes of the first half and with under 2 minutes to go in the game, the offended team, which would have been Ohio State, would get to choose whether they want the clock to start on the snap or on the ready for play. And in college, it's just on the ready, and apparently Will Howard didn't understand that, and more clock went off. But if in high school, they would have been able to say, no, we want the clock to start on the snap.
Wow.
So all that time went to run off. Now, the second scenario is once the ball is snapped and there's a flag in high school, that's a 15-yard penalty. That's illegal participation, and that's a 15-yard penalty. So I think that would have put Ohio State within field goal range. So either way, the high school rules, if college had the high school rules, it would have benefited Ohio State. And
there is no illegal participation then in the college rules.
You know what? I don't have that knowledge. I do not know that.
Okay. But it wasn't called.
Well, there is if someone comes off the sideline during the middle of a play or something to that effect. But
Gotcha.
With 12 guys on the field at the snap is apparently just a illegal substitution.
Gotcha. And have you heard if they're thinking about trying to change any things? Are they going to try to match the high school?
They're talking already about changing it mid-season.
Wow.
Changing that rule mid-season so teams can't use that loophole for their advantage.
Are they talking? Do you know if they're talking about changing it to a 15-yard or an illegal
that
participation?
I don't know. No,
okay.
I don't know what, but I know that they're talking about changing it.
They're probably looking at all different options with that.
Yes.
So very interesting. It'll be we'll have to see if that happens. It's unusual to change rules in the middle of the season. Have you ever heard of that in the high school level?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
It seems like something that you usually would wait till after the season so that you're playing the whole year under the same rules, but maybe if it's causing this big of a stink, they're trying to get it nipped in the bud, so to speak.
Taken care of right away.
Right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look at clips from the St. Mary's victory over Kenton. We'll be back right after this.
You're watching Rules of the Game with Bill Krug, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, All Glaze Equipment Rental, Capabilities, David Wabacher Attorney, Eagles 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Grand Lake Roofing, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Jackalope Stash, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, Laura Yelton State Farm, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Plus One Professional Real Estate, Ryder Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
All right, we're back for Rules of the Game with Bill Krug. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We're going to jump right into the clips from the St. Mary's and Kenton game. Bill, this first one was a jump from St. Mary's, but then a movement by the tackle, and it was called a false start. I thought it was pretty close to being an encroachment, but I guess maybe the St. Mary's guys didn't fully get into the neutral zone. Is that what happened?
That's what happened. As long as they don't get into the neutral zone, and then they're not trying to draw that guy offside on purpose, then that would have been a false start.
So the official determined that was just an accidental jump, not an intentional jump necessarily.
Correct.
And that it wasn't jumped in the neutral zone. Do you think that was the right call from looking at it?
From looking at it right here, yeah, I believe that's the right call.
We're going to jump into a couple plays later. Kenton threw a pass out to the side, and there was a tackle here, and the ball came out. I believe they called his forward momentum had stopped because they called him down basically, but it didn't look like any of his body had touched down.
Well, he doesn't have to be down as long as his forward progress is stopped, and in those big rugby type scrums, when the pile is moving forward, you have to leave it go. But there you can see he was stopped. He's not going anywhere. His forward progress is stopped, and I think that was the right call there. I think he blew the whistle at the right time before something like that, because I think that's a cheap turnover. If you've got the guy stopped and the second and third tacklers coming in there ripping at that ball, but he was stopped. So, yeah, I think that was a good stoppage of play there by that line judge.
St. Mary's didn't recover it anyway, but I thought it was interesting to see, and I like that the officials were very certain and early about it. No, he was down. We're stopping it here. Yeah. They didn't take too long or anything like that. This was the same play, I believe, from an end zone view. Or actually, no, this is the next play. So this was a punt from Kenton, and there was a holding called right there on Childs. I think Aiden Childs.
What number is he?
He's number 22, so he's going to be right there in the center of your screen, kind of at linebacker position. Comes back, and they're both kind of grabbed. I thought that the Kenton guy pulled him as much as he pulled the Kenton guy, but I think that was called on him.
Yeah, it looks like the Kenton guy is the one that's throwing him around, doesn't it?
That's what I thought.
Well.
And we can watch maybe one more time. Joe and I were confused about maybe there was another. They only made one call, but maybe there was something else from one of the other guys near there, like a block in the back or a holding right there, maybe on 11.
Yeah, I don't see anything else. He probably said that both guys had a hold of each other's jersey there on Aiden Childs. Mm-hmm. Childs probably had a hold of his jersey also, and that's what he called. He's right there. He's looking right at it. He's got a good look at it. So that's probably what happened. Childs probably had a hold of that jersey also. So.
All right, this was a call then. Just wondered, it was not called a touchdown. The ball spot was real close to the goal line. It's usually hard for us to see these, but this one is on this side of it, so I thought maybe we could take a look at it. This was Dominic Osborne kind of falling forward.
See his elbow down right there?
Yep.
He's down, and I doubt if that ball is over the goal line right there.
So they called that short of the goal, and you think that was a good call, though?
Yeah, I do. Well, I can't see the ball.
Right.
I can't see the ball, but
that official's
elbow,
right there in the pile.
Yeah,
isn't he?
that official's coming right up that goal line, looking right at it. So,
well, later in the game, this was it was a run from St. Mary's, nice sweep to the outside, and just a classic late hit. Penalties were actually fairly low for the game, so had to put him in here when I saw it. Was that the right call there?
oh yeah, he's a good yard out of bounds before he gets hit.
I think
He's
that
out
Noah
right now.
Dixon
Boom.
out of bounds, and gets hit there.
The defense, I mean, just within the last 10 years, that has been really a point of emphasis to stop those hits that are when the running back is, or who had the ball carrier is, out of bounds. So, yeah, I think that's a good call.
It also seems like it's, for instance, Noah Dixon right there really kind of let up and wasn't ready for a hit. So that's when you have injuries happen more.
Right.
It seems
right.
like. This next play I thought potentially should have been called as grounding during the play, but I'm happy to be wrong. So Kenton quarterback sort of getting wrapped up and then just kind of throws it here out of bounds.
Okay.
Line of scrimmage looks like about the 6-yard line.
He got the ball beyond the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
it's a question as to whether he was throwing it towards the receiver or the receiver was in the area. Is that what the officials are looking at there?
yeah, this
Because the number 1 is standing there.
yeah, and that official probably saw that receiver there, and that's who he's going. That looks like who he's going to. Yeah.
I just thought it was so obviously thrown out of bounds that to me it just looked like even if the receiver was near there, it wasn't really thrown in his direction. But that was just my thought. So they don't care about that necessarily as long as
that plays into it. The 3 things that has to be is the quarterback has to be outside of that free blocking zone. You want to call it the tackle box laterally. He wasn't. He was deep. I don't think he ever did get out of that tackle box laterally, and then the ball has to get beyond the line of scrimmage, and then it has to. He's the only one that can do it. The quarterback, he can't hand it off, and then a running back throw a pass like that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, he did. He did get it across.
That's
the
right.
line
He
of
can just throw it away no matter what. There doesn't have to be a receiver in the area.
As long as it meets those criteria.
Crosses the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Okay, that's my bad then. I was thinking that there had to be a wide receiver in the area. So this next play was a call against St. Mary's on this punt return. Actually, this was another angle of that. This is another angle of that punt from earlier. So we jumped around a little bit because I had the clips screwed up. So this is where they called potentially holding on Aiden Childs, or maybe blocking the back on number 11, Dylan Fink. So we'll see right kind of here in your screen, 22's right there and 11's back there. They're both engaged with their men right now on the left side of the screen. And there's the throw and that penalty coming in.
Well, from right there, I can see the Kenton player trying to toss Aiden Childs. But the Kenton player goes down too, so Aiden must have had a hold of him. See that?
Yep.
So I think that back judge back there probably got that right. He probably did have a hold of his jersey and was see him go down?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if Aiden lets go of that jersey and just gets thrown by the guy, he's probably not getting that call. It was It was the pull of the jersey while he was getting thrown
and making him go to the ground.
Gotcha.
If he had let go and then, it looks to me like they both had each other, and that's the call.
All right. Well, we're going to check out the next clip. This was a jump from St. Mary's, and again, no encroachment was called. I think Kenton wanted encroachment. Just wanted to know your thoughts.
Looks to me like he was waiting for him to call, waiting for him to blow the whistle and throw the flag, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe this was later in the game, and we didn't want to stop the game necessarily, or I don't know, but I was surprised it wasn't called.
Does he break that plane? from here, it sure looks like he did, doesn't it?
Well, and he didn't jump back right away,
He didn't jump back right away, which makes him look even more guilty. But those guys on the wing, they're right on that line.
Maybe they were looking away for a second. I'm not sure.
It happens. It does. It happens.
Look at the bottom of your screen here. Jacob Kessler wanted holding here on the Kenton guy. Just wanted to know your thoughts on this.
Okay.
It was not a completed pass, but we know that there could still be holding even if the pass isn't completed. So it's the wide receiver, very bottom of your screen, and on Jacob Kessler, there's a little bit of a jersey pull there at the end.
Okay, so this line judge down here, he's looking to see if that ball's going to be caught, and that's out of that contact with the receiver and the defensive back is really out of his eyesight. Now, the back judge or the umpire there, they could have either one of them had called that. So,
is that one of those that they maybe let go because it wasn't completed pass, so it didn't end up affecting the play?
It didn't affect the play. Yeah, that could very well be. It wasn't that big of a hold. It sure didn't look like that. If it was a hold, it could have been, but it didn't make an effect on that play. So that's a good one to leave go.
Finally, this was, I think, pass interference called on St. Mary's here. Deep pass from the Kenton quarterback. I just wondered if you thought it was a good call. Oh, actually, we'll have the whole story with this one. So,
okay.
So look at the very top of your screen here.
Okay.
Number 12 for St. Mary's, very top there on his receiver. Receiver runs by from the inside, and he sort of falls down, and that was called pass interference there.
What did he do? Did he trip him?
It looked like a trip.
Okay. Was the ball in the air when he tripped him? It kind of looks like it is. He's looking right at it, too, that head linesman.
So here's the interesting thing. The officials got together, and they picked up the flag.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, I don't know if the line judge threw it there. So I don't know if out of the corner of his eye he saw the guy fall, and another official was looking at it and said, no, there wasn't really any contact. The guy fell on his own, but they picked up the penalty.
Okay, so in tripping, when you trip someone, it has to be intentional. Okay, now watch that. Does he just step on his foot? I don't know that he did try to trip him. And in a pass interference, the defensive guy has the right to have his feet where they are also. So when you get your feet tangled up, there's usually not a penalty for pass interference. I mean, only if you're behind him and you've been burnt and you're behind him and you trip him from behind, they're going to get you for that.
Okay.
But when you're there and he's making a cut, and
he's just kind of running through you.
Yes, and you get your feet tangled up, that's a no call. That's a no call.
And so it was nice to see the officials get together and maybe get it right then.
Right, correct. That's what you're supposed to do. Yep.
There was one more play I wanted to talk about. We don't have a clip for it, but it was just more of a yardage thing. So there was a 10-yard holding penalty on St. Mary's, and then after the play, a 15-yard personal foul against Kenton. So then what the officials did was they marked off the 10 yards, and then they went back 15 yards. So it became basically a net 5-yard loss for Kenton. Is that the correct way that should have been done?
If it was a dead ball foul.
Okay.
If they would have both been live ball fouls, they would have just offset each other.
Okay.
But the holding was a live ball foul.
Correct.
So, and then after the play was over, as soon as the whistle blows, play's over, and then if the personal foul comes after that, yes, that's a dead ball. So that happened after the play. So you administer the fouls in the order they happened. So the holding, you got to take, since they're on opposite teams, holding, and then come back with the personal foul.
I think some people were confused why it didn't offset, and I thought that was the case, that it was a personal foul that was a dead ball after the play.
Yeah.
And so that gets marked off after whatever happens during the play, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for walking us through that.
Sure.
Hopefully we have some more interesting clips coming up with the Rough Riders game against Elida this week. Rider Nation Station will be there, I believe, from a scissor lift again. The Always Equipment Rental scissor lift. And so we'll see everybody Friday night, and we'll have Bill Krug back here next week for some more clips. Thanks for being here, Bill.
Thanks, Zach.
We'll see everybody next week.
Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.